What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Suburban Paranormal. I realize it's been, I think, a month again, and things have just been a bit much. Wife started a new job, kids are getting ready to end school, whole bunch of fun stuff. But wanted to go ahead, want to jump right in here. Got a couple new-ish stories, and I want to talk about the Twentynine Palms in California. I'm going to review that a little bit and see if you guys have seen some of the things that have come out. So right on, let's get on into this. So I figured we start off with a couple ghost stories here this week. As you can see, this one, we got a ghost that was photographed in Cleothorpes Beach. I think that's how you say it. The picture down here, as we can see, over government. Anyway, so you can see this like white mist kind of in the camera. I don't know. This one had me kind of back and forth. Is it kind of anomalous? Sure. However, the problem is I've been doing a lot of photography stuff recently. Just actually did a small astrophotography session. Moon was a little bright, so I'm going to go out here shortly. I think the moon's actually about to set here. So anyway, it almost looks like it could be some kind of glitching on a camera, or something real small on the lens. But I kind of feel like I'm stretching to say that. I always we've talked about before. I always try and find the reasonable explanation first before immediately jumping to it. So I'm curious what you guys think of this one. Whew. Apologize, my kids have not been sleeping, so neither have I. I think that's the only picture, but again, it seems to be a white object, kind of floating out here in the middle of the ocean. The woman spotted it, though, right? So what it could be, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't seem to be, I mean, it's not like an iceberg or anything, so again, it's again, feel free to bring your thoughts here. And those just listening at home, again, always follow us on YouTube so that you can see what we're looking at here when we're reviewing this stuff. Again, a lot of it's from Unexplained Mysteries, but there needs to be some new sources that I'm looking at soon. So anyway, that one I found a bit interesting. But we're going to go back here, and we're going to move on. The next one, a taxi driver took a man. Now, it's just a story. There's not too much there. But I'm actually kind of curious if anybody's had this before. Because I've heard a couple of these stories where, especially nighttime, you're driving along. And could it be exhaustion? Could it be something else? Sure. But I know sometimes when I'm driving, and if I start talking, or, maybe sending a question out there, like, some people, you put the question out there in the universe, and then sometimes I'll feel, and I can envision certain people next to me in, say, my passenger seat or otherwise, answering and responding to me, right? And that could be many different things, but is this something the same thing? It's this was out in Malaysia, so it's an interesting story. They're very spiritual people, so I'd be curious to see how this whole thing even started. He just showed up, kind of picked up the woman, and when he goes to drop her off, she disappears. So I don't know. This story, I have trouble believing them, but I've had my own. So, interesting. This one, I didn't mean to open the other story, but this one right here, done on April 21st. I'm not far from Gettysburg. I would love to go back to Gettysburg, and I would love to do a whole bunch more down there. But this person has spotted a ghost. Holy crap. I'm going to mute that. But as you can see here on this screen, I'm going to zoom in. Alright, there we go. This person was viewing this camera, and we got some shadows. The interesting thing with these, with the shadows, is they're very, very quick moving, right? Now, I seems to be having some issues with my screen. But, anyway, as you can see, there were some very, very quick moving shadows. Now, this is a bed and breakfast, though. The owners are saying, though, that this was from the attic. There were no stores in the attic, so there shouldn't have been nothing up there. A couple factors. If it was someone up there, those shadows were pretty damn fast, in my opinion. So that lends to interesting side of things. Again, it is bed and breakfast. Could somebody be up there? There's an absolute 100% chance somebody did that, right? People do this stuff all the time because they think this kind of industry is a joke. Whatever, right? We don't care about those people. Deal with those all our lives. So, well, yes, there's that possibility. Speed. The fact that we're talking about Gettysburg here, oh my god, I gotta stop you on him. The fact that we're talking about Gettysburg always is good for multiple things, right? So, I like the video, I like the footage. It is actually done on what is an actual decent camera, right? The flashing, I think, is my computer. I keep seeming to have issues every time I try and do one of these shows recently. But, as you can see in the video itself, it's quick moving, also, but it's an HD quality video, right? Like someone actually used a phone that was not a potato when they recorded it this time, which was nice to see. So, I like it. Curious your guys' take, as I am on everything, right? So, I don't believe we jumped to, nope, not this one. Check our, oh yeah, so this is their cryptozoology. I think it's recently been renamed, which is why I kind of saw it weird at first. This one, they're actually doing a search in Thailand for Bigfoot. I wish there was some way that I could be a part of that, because trying to find Bigfoot, who doesn't want to find Bigfoot? That's awesome. So I found that. Sorry. They're definitely good. And then last but not least, so hopefully hopefully we get something out of it. Who knows? But anyway, we got this guy who, after 3 decades, really has not found much. And, I mean, this guy's crazy. Haven't given up on his house, his job, and his girlfriend to focus on it. He now lives in a mobile home that's just parked there. I get the passion. But, man, you got all that and you left it for just this. Let's keep things a little bit, I don't know. One sighting in the first year, and that's it. One glimpse, he's hooked. I mean, if he's happy, sure. But I would never give up my wife and kids. My job. Just to go searching on it. And unless I was making money and I still have my wife and kids, not worth it to me. Not at all. But anyway, that's really mostly what I got from there. UFO phenomenon, our other favorite thing to look. And this is going to bring us into our next story. So apparently, we've had a lot of UFOs, sightings and things again. This, I don't, anything surrounding this guy, Logan Paul, I won't believe at all. I think this guy does whatever he thinks he can to make money, and I got nothing wrong with that. But I think that he's trying to make this into a joke. No. Anyway, we have a few different talks, and one of them being this one right here. So this one, no video or pictures from this one, unfortunately, but apparently something did delay Turkey's airport for 12 hours. That's a real thing. So, no information on that. If anybody's seen anything new, I know it's only 5 days since then, but if anybody's seen any pictures, let me know. I would like to see if anything was captured for it. But so far, from what I've seen, it's just been a bunch of sightings. Also, the mass UFO sighting over Lake Michigan 29 years ago, still not much on those. But I find it interesting. We're getting more of these like mass UFO events, right? That are coming out with. It's a lot of just accounts, obviously, for the older ones, but these newer ones, thankfully, everybody's got phones in their hands. Everybody's phones, cameras are finally starting to get decently, not looking like, as I said earlier, a potato while you're doing it. So let's jump into this video, and like I said, this is sort of today's main topic. So, in 2021, over the, I believe, what do they call it, Twentynine Palms military base. Now, Twentynine Palms military base is something I don't think really looked at for, it's not like an Area 51 where everybody knows about it, blah, blah, blah. But if you actually look more into Twentynine Palms, the military base itself, it's pretty interesting. It's massive. They can get away with doing a ton of stuff on there. So, what I like about this, though, is they have this picture, and then there was some footage taken by military people, and they all talked about it. And it was recently brought to light to Jerry McCorbell. We all know Jerry McCorbell. He's done great work for UFOs and things like that. So hopefully he gets more. And if you haven't watched his Weaponized podcast, it's really good. They just recently talked about this one, and that's why I think a lot of people are starting to find it. It's just more information is now just coming out about it. He actually spoke to the people who took the video, and they, went through various things of what it possibly could be. I think they said flare rounds, fire rounds, anything like those, and they fall out, right? Like they'll go up and they come down. This just kind of was there and it hovered. And then this was an image captured, and you can see there is a lot of noise, obviously, when it comes to taking these like nighttime pictures on cameras. The guy used an iPhone. They taped it, and it just disappeared. There was no sound that they could they could audibly hear. Nothing along those lines, right? We just have these 4 lights in the sky. OCD, I don't know if you guys have it, but it bugs me. It's not a perfect triangle. So it's kind of interesting as why it's not a perfect. Why would it not be a perfect triangle? I mean, I don't. I'm assuming here, right? But I mean, if you're aliens with advanced technology, your lights would line up a little better. But then again, this could just be, artifacting or compacting of the image. Compressing of the image from the camera. And that's how it got interpreted. But this is another interesting one. What I like about it, we got Marines talking about it. We got military, not answering about it. As we know, Jeremy Corbell, I'm sure he'll dig further into this more. We'll see if anybody else comes out with more information. But it's, you had a dozen Marines witness this UFO. And the interesting part to me is that this one actually came, this came out. People talked about it. And as I mentioned before, we had that Michigan article a minute ago. You have more of these mass stories coming out. And hopefully, with more and more of these stories coming to light, people describing them, it'd be interesting to start, and I wouldn't mind trying to put this together. Not sure how we could go about doing this. You guys out there, let me know what you're thinking. But if we had the database built where you could see the UFO sightings on a map, plot them, and then see, what type of UFOs was it? Was it was it the Tic Tac shape? Was it a triangle? Was it, your normal saucer? What was seen? Was it audible? And be able to filter on those things. I'd be interested to see if there's certain UFO types to certain areas, right? Like, do we always see triangles at a certain spot, or do we always see, is it always triangles west of the United States, or always in the United States, or do we have, the Tic Tac that's only there? Be interested to see if there's some sort of pattern in the sightings themselves when it comes to, shape, how close it was, audibility, things like that. So be curious if that's something we can easily get the data and kind of map that and take a look at that, and be curious if anybody else is interested in something like that, if we can try and start tracking down some patterns, right? Because it's always interesting. But I guess that's pretty much all I have for that one. And if you guys haven't been watching the latest, I guess we'll end on this one real quick, right? I just started this season of Skinwalker Ranch, and it's very interesting to see that, the guy on Skinwalker Ranch was part of the government task force, but he wasn't allowed to say anything. But he was there investigating not only with them, but on the side for the government, who, we're not a political show. Very interesting, and the fact that he's still there, but I guess not a part of the government anymore. So, I don't know, annoying, interesting, but at the same time, some of the things this season so far have been pretty good. I know a lot of people may say that, it's just a TV show. But again, this show is about a place that's got plenty of history to it. Before that, TV maybe exploiting it, I don't know. But I do think, I don't know. I have a feeling, I have a tendency to lean towards believing this one, and I don't know what that is about it, but I seem to just have that feeling about it. So anyway, guys, as always, I appreciate you tuning in. We're going to step up the frequency of these. Let's just say there was a bit of stuff going on at my work we're not allowed to talk about, but things have been a bit hectic. They've calmed down again. I'm actually in the middle of redoing all this, painting the walls and things like that. But anyway, guys, I will obviously see you hopefully in about 2 weeks. Again, I'm going to try and stick back to this every other week schedule. If things pick up, though, we will definitely try and do some more stories. I do also want to try and do some planned actual recordings that I've talked about before on like various subjects. So if there's a subject you'd like me to research and do an episode about, send it over suburbanparanormal@gmail.com. Don't forget, as always, they'll probably pop up here on the screen, to check us out on social media, where hopefully those will be rolling again very shortly as well. So guys, until next time, I will see you later.